OnePlus 7 Pro is the big new smartphone camera, as well as pretty reasonable price at $669, and it's coming with quite a lot of features. We're going to talk about 3 different phones, the wireless earbuds, the Buds Bullets Wireless version 2, as well as a 5G model and some other things too. So let's just start jumping into it. So the OnePlus 7 Pro is what we're going to start with. It has a front pop-up camera. They had some cool little videos where they tied a giant weight to it and opened it 300,000 times, so pretty durable there. And we also have 3 different colors: nebula blue, mirror gray, and almond. So a couple different colors you can check out, so pretty interesting. And let's just dive into some of the highlights for the phone. What makes up a phone? Obviously the screen, the camera, the build and features, as well as the software side. So this is launching May 17th for $669 again. There's going to have a couple different models and everything, but let's jump into the displays where they're doing a couple of little unique things. The size is 6.67 inches. It's a fluid AMOLED display, so we'll get into the fluid and 90 hertz right now, I guess, is pretty important. So a lot of phones are doing 60 hertz, and you can usually see a huge difference when you compare them side by side. Obviously, some people may notice just using the phone by itself. Others may or may not, depending on what you're doing, but the pretty big benefits is this is a QHD display. So this is 3120 by 1440p resolution, so pretty big over 1080p, and it is a 93% screen to body ratio. So they removed that little top notch, and they had the little pop-up camera, so you get way more screen real estate, so that's always good. The bezels are curved over the edges a little bit, you can see there, so that's also pretty good. Curved edge design, and screen unlock. So they have a 0.21 seconds unlock. I believe this is with a fingerprint. It has a screen inbuilt fingerprint reader, so that is good to see. 90 hertz refresh rate. We get a little preview here. You're going to notice this in scrolling and animations, like apps opening up, but you'll see a little bit of a delay, like almost like a stutter kind of. You're kind of seeing with, I believe they're comparing this to 60. It might be 30. I'm not sure. They don't specify, but you'll see. You also can notice this with gaming as well. If you're doing some racing games and everything, some fast-paced games, you can definitely. A lot of people notice the 90 hertz over 60 hertz. So that is pretty beneficial with the screen. This is also an OLED again, so pretty good screen performance. And the camera, they have 3 different cameras on the Pro model. We'll talk about the non-Pro model a little bit as well. But a 48 megapixel main camera, and then you're going to have your ultra wide, your wide aspect, as well as a 3x optical. So a lot of phones are doing 2x. There's about 2 phones right now. Huawei has like a 5x optical, and I think Oppo has a 6x. Those are the only 2 with like the periscope, but 3x is definitely way above most of the other phones, so that is pretty good. So this is, I believe, has a pretty high score on DxOMark. It's the number 3 phone, and again, way less pricey compared to the 2 phones above it. So you're definitely getting one of the 3rd best camera in one of the best priced phones. So that's pretty good going for it. So that is good. Ultra wide again. I think we get some picture examples and everything. 3x optical zoom. So here's 0.6. Here's your ultra wide basically. So you're getting to see his hand, a lot of the sky and everything else. And we're going to zoom into about 1. So this is your normal camera. You lose the hand, you get a lot closer. You get just a main picture. Times 2, we're going to go up 2. So you're seeing just barely top of the head wear and a little bit less of the beard going on there. And then times 3, you're just getting the top of the forehead and even less beard. So you got a ton of options for a little camera in your phone. That's pretty good. And besides the camera, it also has, well, another camera thing. Again, it has a pop-up front selfie camera as well. I think that's 1080p, 30 FPS. We'll go into specs a little bit later. And it also has a Nightscape 2.0, so they're improving the night quality photos. That's what everyone's shooting for right now. Ultra wide night photos, as well as getting better zoom. That's where smartphone cameras are going pretty much. So warp charge 30, so you can get your phone going up with a battery life up to in 20 minutes. They mentioned on the live stream, I believe it was 48% in 20 minutes, from 0 to 48 in 20 minutes. I'm not sure. I don't think it's 80%, but I think that's what they showed in the live stream. So pretty fast charging, and then it will keep cool going from 0 to 100%. They compare this in some gaming little benchmark in a way. So they compare this to the Samsung S10 while you're playing a video game. You do 0% to around 80% in an hour, I believe, 60 minutes, whereas the S10 Plus gets around 22% charge. So a lot better with that 30 warp charge going on there. So pretty good if you like to top up your battery. It's a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, so you get a lot of battery performance. And here are your specs, your build, your features, and everything else. So let's just jump into some of that. So this is going to have the Snapdragon 855 and 12 gigs of RAM, so they're definitely top of the line specs going on here, and up to 256 gigs of storage. We'll have a little note about speed of storage in a second. So the processor is 45% faster over the 845. That's obviously good, 30% performance. And RAM, 12 gigs is obviously quite a lot for a smartphone. That's pretty good. A lot of computers and laptops don't really have that much, but pretty good. And then 256 gigabytes of storage. This is UFS 3.0, so this is the speedier storage inside phones at 79% faster write speed. So pretty good read and write speed. So pretty good for downloading things, transferring files, and all that. 10 layers of liquid cooling, so they have usually copper heat pipes with like a drop of water to help increase thermals and performance. Obviously, that's pretty good for the Snapdragon 855. So they also have dual Atmos, dual stereo speakers, Dolby Atmos. That is also good for sound wise. You got your little speaker at the top, and then you have a bottom firing speaker at the bottom. So you get dual speaker system going on. There's your USB-C. Here's your SIM card. I believe there's no SD card, so you'll have to pick your storage option at the beginning. Here's a little top. So there's that. Here's your little slider, your little lock, and your button, and then volume on the other side. So those are your outside components. And what else do we have here? And then Oxygen OS. Do we get into that? Here's some more and pretty good craftsmanship. That's good. And then Oxygen OS. So they mentioned in the live stream that this had the second most updates of a phone compared to just Google being above them. So you're getting a lightweight Oxygen OS. So that is pretty good for OnePlus 7 people who prefer that. And what else do we have? We can jump into specs and pricing, I guess, is the last little bit we can really go into for the OnePlus 7 Pro model. And that is, here's a couple of the dimensions: 206 grams, 3D Corning Gorilla Glass, USB 3.1 Type-C. Again, there's the 4,000 milliamp hour battery, non-removable obviously. There's your warp charging, super fast charging, pretty good there. And then there's a couple different models you'll be able to, between 6 and 12 gigabytes of RAM options, and then the 2 storage options. And we'll go into pricing when we compare the other model in just a second. Here's your aspect ratio. Here's some of the display features. There's some night modes and stuff for blue light and everything, so that's always good. 4K video at 60 FPS, and then your 1080p 30 and 60. So a lot of good specs and everything going on here. So we'll jump into pricing, and we get to see the Anantech does a little side-by-side of the OnePlus 7, which isn't quite coming to the US. I believe it's China and Europe areas is where you'll see the OnePlus 7, but the Pro model is coming to the US. And we get some good differences here. So the Pro model will be 8 or 12 gigs versus the 6 or 8 option on the OnePlus 7. And the 7 will be a little bit smaller, a 6.4 inch. And I believe this will only have 2 cameras versus the 3 cameras, which we're going to see up here. No telephoto or wide on the OnePlus. So maybe that's a depth sensor is the second camera on the OnePlus 7. So versus the 3 cameras on the Pro model. So you're getting a lot better camera features, obviously. And what else do we have? A couple less colors, obviously, and the pricing is going to be a little bit different. And Anantech has $700 for the OnePlus 7. I believe that's a T-Mobile price. I think it's $669 on the actual OnePlus 7. When it launches on the 17th is when you're going to be able to order this in just a day or two. So there is that. And then you can upgrade to the little bit more expensive models for up to $859 for the 12 gigs of RAM and the 256 gigs of storage, so that's super fast storage inside, versus 549 pounds or 639 euros for the top of the end models for the OnePlus 7, not Pro. So those are the main things about the OnePlus 7. They mentioned a couple other things. Again, there's some videos of them doing how they're tying a weight to the camera, the pop-up camera. I believe Marquez, in his review, they talked about them dropping it in a bucket of water. So it is water resistance, but they don't have an IP rating on it yet. So that's some other interesting things about the phone. So again, a pretty top-of-the-line phone. In camera, obviously the third best smartphone camera. Build quality, a 90 hertz OLED panel, so that's pretty good. I think it's 800 nits of brightness, so it's very bright as well. Screen to body ratio 93%, so pretty impressive specs for $669. 90 hertz display, so pretty good. So what else do we have in OnePlus news really quick? We also have the OnePlus Bullets wireless. Before we get into the 5G. So in 10 minutes, you can get up to 10 hours of charge. So pretty good there. And I believe here's some more in Tech. They did some pictures of the actual live stream, so we get some quick snapshots. So second generation Bullets wireless earbuds. They're 99 pounds. They're coming out in a couple more days. May 21st is when they come out. And so true flagship sound quality. So you're getting, it looks like you're getting one 10 millimeter driver and two armature drivers, so 3 drivers in each ear phone part, so pretty good sound quality. Obviously we're going to get out of these, and pretty fast charge time, and then Bluetooth 5.0, some other interesting little things, and there's a video you can check out. Looks like these aren't coming to the US quite yet. I believe Europe area is 99 pounds, and there's again a quick little 1-minute video, so pretty cool there if you're looking for some wireless earbuds that don't connect to anything, because there's no headphone jack on the OnePlus, so that's sad for headphone jack users. And lastly, we have the 5G model. So this, we don't have a date or a price on this. Obviously it's going to be more than $700, and we don't have again a date, but it's going to have the Snapdragon X50 5G modem to the mix, so pretty good there. And not too many other details. It's going to be fast internet basically, so pretty cool. A lot of the similar specs, 1440p, 90 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM. They might not have lower end options, but this is going to be a pretty fast phone. A lot of the reviewers are saying this is one of the fastest phones they've played with, so pretty promising phones from OnePlus 7 at pretty good price points for a little bit over a mid-range priced phone, but definitely not $1,000 phone like Samsung iPhones. I think Huawei is up to $1,000 or more in a lot of their Pros. So pretty crazy stuff from OnePlus. And we got Lulu saying 4K. You like some good video camera stuff going on there. So pretty good from OnePlus again. And that about wraps it up. A little bit of a longer video, a lot of phones they were showing off. So with that, we will be signing off with another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. And again, signing off. Pew 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 pew.